Welcome to Timeout with Twinpossible.
Hello, and welcome to Timeout with Twinpossible. Ignore the Slurpee cup on my little table here. I had a Slurpee before. I went back to the roots of my youth, had me a Slurpee, and filled it up with water because it's a humongous cup and it's perfect for hydrating yourself after such a Slurpee. For any reason. Well, actually, I took a bike ride, so that's where I'm hydrating myself from. And it's hot in here, so I'm sweating, but let's move on and start talking about the subject at hand, which is much more interesting. Today we're going to discuss 5-month milestones, which is funny because doesn't it just seem like yesterday we were talking about 4-month milestones? It's kind of scary. But the 5th month is pretty exciting. You might notice that your baby is doing some cool new things. Definitely should be rolling at least in the one direction from the back to the front onto the belly. But now might also be rolling from the belly to the back as well, which may not happen for another month or so, so please don't get alarmed if your baby has not reached all these milestones, because it does not mean anything. You know, just watch your baby. Every day they'll amaze you by doing something new. But, you know, your baby may be rolling completely over, in which case you really have to be careful with your child on any elevated surface, because now is a time where accidents can happen. My daughter, when she was 5, she started rolling out of nowhere, and she had been totally motionless before the incident, and then she just rolled off the bed. And it happens to more people than you believe. I mean, you feel like you're such a bad parent, it's the only person it could have possibly happened to. You look it up online, there's a zillion people. Okay, so if you have enough children, chances are you're going to go through this no matter who you are or how careful you are. But it was like a nightmare. I mean, panic mode city, and you don't want to, I mean, it's worse for you than it is for them. Usually it's harmless, usually they're not hurt, but sometimes they can be, and the thought of what can be is petrifying to any new mother. So you just want to know that they can start turning at any time, and you may not see it coming. So always make sure to have your child blocked in. If they're up on a bed or something, make sure you have pillows around. But even now I noticed my little Annie, she's starting to go a little bit over the pillow. So it's starting to get to the point where it's going to have to be napping in the crib only, because that's the only place I'm going to feel safe with her in. They're starting to roll as a mode of transportation, if you will, which is what some babies will start to do at this point and in the next coming month. Other things is you might be getting a good charge out of your child or your children, your twins, with their little babbling and talking. Seems like they're really having a personal conversation with you, which is really adorable. They're more alert now. They're sleeping a little bit less in the daytime, so they're definitely interacting more with people and yourself. So they really know the people around them. They know the voices. They know the faces, and they could even hear you like across the room. If you came behind them in a diagonal 20 feet away even, and you said their name, they'll look up in that direction. Their hearing senses are very keen now. Their vision is very keen, just like ours at this point. It started out really bad, blind like me, pretty much, and then now it's like 20/40, which is as close to perfect, in my opinion. Well, 20/20 is perfect as you can get. So see, by 6 months, 20/40 is what they have. So they're really seeing very well now, and they're hearing well. They're laughing more in response to funny stimuli, funny faces, you know, things that they find amusing, which is adorable to watch. They cry, they get frightened, you know, and will make sad faces to things that displease them or scare them. They definitely know who they like and who they don't like, but they still will go to you and like to some stranger, and they'll eat a bottle from them, but they're not going to be as responsive to a stranger as they will you. In the next month or two, they'll start to like cry for you and for people that they know and have a little stranger anxiety. But usually that's not showing up at 5 months. So usually you have like maybe 6 or 7 months that might start taking shape there. But you never know. Sometimes you notice things earlier or later in your own child, and nothing is abnormal unless your doctor says it is. But other things that they may be doing, the 3rd and 4th month babies were doing mini push-ups. They had their elbows down, pushing up like this, their heads coming up during tummy time. We did a whole segment on tummy time, remember? And now they're able to just push up using their hands and their arms stretched out, putting their chests off the floor entirely, and putting their heads up straight and solid now. There's not a lot of wobble at all. Everything is nice and sturdy. And so they're really turning into like strong little beings there. They're like little people now instead of just floppy-headed, fragile little, dollies. Right now they're like, they're turning into very personable little ones that aren't quite as fragile, but they are still fragile. But they definitely have some personality now. And, a few other things you might notice them watching you eat, staring at you eating, watching as that fork and spoon goes to your face, and they're going, ooh, looks yummy. That's one of the signs your child may be ready to start solids. I did a whole blog on that. I'll do a vlog on that as well, but this is about milestones here. Aside from all of that, you may notice that your child is playing a lot more with his or her hands and feet. The feet are now possibly even in the mouth, so keep those piggies clean now. Not that they're walking anywhere, but right now it's just like an exploratory time for them. They're learning a lot. They've been looking at their hands and fingers for a while going, ooh, but now they're like really exploring and checking out the feet and pulling those feet towards the mouth, if only we were all so flexible, right? And just like really having a good time at it. So, keep everything nice and clean, like I said, and just watch in amazement, because it's like you think about them now getting such a charge out of something so small, and then I picture them as teenagers going, Mom, I'm bored, come on, take me to a movie, or blah, blah, blah. It's like, everything's so simple and innocent now. So these are the times to remember, because they will not last forever, as Billy Joel put it so nicely. And truthfully, unfortunately. So do enjoy these times. And they do go by too fast. And other things you may notice is your baby's increased strength while on their legs. They may hold themselves up for a good period of time before their legs buckle and tire. I've heard of some babies even holding up onto something like a table or something and standing, but at this point I have not even dared try that. I don't want like a face into the table, because everything we have is like marble, so that I'm not even going to try it. But my other daughter still has the mushy legs, but kicks a lot and pushes them straight out. She, when she's laying in the kick and play and stuff, bounce, so she kicks and she pushes, and she can push against my hands and furniture. We do everything with her to try to get her to stand, and the thing there is she's just not even trying. So it's not like she's trying and failing, which would be worse than just not trying. So maybe it's just laziness. I don't know. We're going to have to see the doctor again. So far he's all right with things. But like I said, and when you have twins, it's easy to compare the two and say, oh, well, she's doing this and she's not doing that. Try not to do that. If you would have had them separately, like a year or two apart, you wouldn't be comparing them. When you have them simultaneously, it's so easy to compare twins because they're going through the exact age. So you figure they're at the exact stage and phase and should be doing exactly the same thing. But every baby does develop differently, so you gotta give your twins some slack if you notice one is a little bit slower than the other on certain things, okay? Also speak to your doctor if you're concerned. That's always the smartest thing to do. And aside from that, they're able to like hold a rattle in their hands. I showed my daughters how to shake the rattle, and now they're shaking it around, which is really cool. And moving things easily, hand to hand now, passing and tracking with the eyes like last month. Easily manipulating objects with their hands. Their coordination is getting much more keen now, and their balance and their steadiness is getting better. Head and neck muscles are more sturdy now, and if you sit them up on your lap, You can notice that they're not like, like all over the place, like gonna like slump forward. They kind of sit more erect. And honestly, if I put my girls in my lap, one at a time of course, they sort of even could sit upright, unassisted. Of course, I do it very carefully with my arms around like this and let them sit here, and they've actually been able to balance, and it's kind of a good exercise. Maybe I'll throw that in this video at some point where you might be able to just try that to prepare your child for sitting up unassisted, which your baby shouldn't be doing at this point. If they are, terrific. But mine are almost 6 months, so they're in the end of the 5th month here, the last, the last leg of the race. And they're not sitting up unassisted, but they can be propped up and they can sit up in my lap for some amount of time, not too long. But it's really cool to see how less floppy they are from last month and how much stronger they are. They really have built up a lot of upper body strength and even muscles and strength in their backs as well, which is really great to watch. They're much less floppy, much less fragile, like I said. And also they're definitely, communicating more. They're communicating with each other. If you do have twins, you might know what that means. They're starting to take notice with each other, so it's pretty cool. You just got to watch them kind of clawing at each other at times, getting a little too close to the eyes and stuff. Sort of glad I didn't have the ears pierced, because Allie likes to grab the ears of the other baby, and that worries me. That if I would have got that done, woo, ouch. But anyway, what else? Hold on, sip of water while the brain cells try to come to light here. Let's see. That didn't work. Anyway, I'm not blind. I was at one time, but I'm not anymore. Anyhow, other things you might notice is that your baby might be holding their bottles. When they're eating now, the hands go around the bottles, and they might have been doing that for a while, but now they're going around the bottles and they're actually using their strength of their arms to like hold the bottle weight, okay? But don't get too excited, because usually if you let go and you're like, oh look honey, little Sally's holding her bottle, oh take a picture. By the time you run and get the camera and go to take the picture, usually the bottle's going to be flat down on their chest. So, don't get discouraged, just be encouraged that it's soon going to be on their way. They are developing that ability to hold the bottle, but usually it's just for a few seconds, or maybe even up to like 10 or 15 seconds sometimes, but usually that's about it. But it is a positive thing for things to come, especially if you're a mom of multiples who is like desperately dying for this milestone to be reached. Hold that bottle, please! I need another hand, I need one for myself. But seriously, you're just going to notice a lot more personality, more vocal skills, though they do say that between 5 and 7 months your child may be talking a little less, and that's normal. I haven't noticed that with my twins, and I never knew it before. I never heard that before with my others, so I couldn't tell you this one. But if you have noticed that, ask your doctor, because I did read that online. So don't be afraid if that is occurring. But the little things that they are doing right now to communicate are really funny. So amuse them, play with them, do your peekaboo, do your patty cake. They're really starting to get a charge of it. Try Itsy Bitsy Spider. My girls just love that. The little piggies with the toes, wee all the way home. They do seem to enjoy that now, because they're finally growing up on us and turning into real little humans who are totally, just like we're falling in love with them. We're definitely falling in love with them more now than ever. And I just wish we could stay here a lot longer. But unfortunately, time marches on, so soon we'll be seeing you again for the 6-month milestones. Enjoy the 5th month, and I hope that it goes by as slowly as possible for you. Thank you for watching Time Out with Twinpossible.